What if I told you that some of the greatest criminal masterminds in history did not use guns or brute force? They used blueprints, badges, and brilliance. They didn't just steal money. They vanished without leaving a single fingerprint behind. This is not fiction. These are real stories of the billion-dollar heist that rocked a nation during wartime, of tunnels dug for months under busy city streets, of diamonds stolen in broad daylight, just steps from security guards. And here is the craziest part. Many of them were never caught. Not one suspect, not one trace. Just a perfect crime, executed like a movie script. From vaults sealed tighter than a tomb, to robbers who disguised themselves as cops, janitors, even pizza delivery guys. What you are about to see is not just theft, it is genius, calculated, cold, and shockingly elegant. Welcome to Vanished Without a Trace. The smartest robbers in the world. Only on Connection Station. Baghdad, 2003. While the world was watching bombs drop and statues fall, someone made history in silence. Amidst the chaos of war, with streets on fire and power grids failing, a single handwritten note authorized the unthinkable $1 billion withdrawn from the Central Bank of Iraq, not with explosives, not at gunpoint, but with the signature of Saddam Hussein himself. Over the next few hours, armored trucks quietly rolled into the bank. No alarms, no resistance, no trace. They drove away with more cash than any thief in history had ever taken and vanished. No one stopped them, no one saw them, and to this day, most of that money has never been found. Some called it looting, others called it an inside job orchestrated under the fog of war. But one thing is certain, it was the largest bank robbery in human history. And no masked men, no blueprints, no tunneling required, just power. And the perfect moments. Los Angeles, 1997. It was not just the biggest cash robbery in the city's history. It was a masterclass in betrayal. The man behind it all, Alan Pace, trusted employee, head of security, and the mastermind who spent months studying every camera, every blind spot, every lock. One Friday night, he led his crew into the Dunbar Armored Depot, a well-oiled, silent team that moved like ghosts through the facility. They knew exactly where to go, and within 30 minutes, they were gone, with $18.9 million in untraceable cash. No alarms, no fingerprints, no violence, just precision. For months, they lived like shadows, no flashy spending, no stupid mistakes, and the FBI had nothing. Until one of them slipped. A small, quiet loan paid in crisp bills was all it took to bring the whole empire crashing down. It was an inside job, pulled off with surgical skill, and for a moment, it looked like the perfect crime, almost. Antwerp, Belgium, a city known for chocolate, cobblestone streets, and diamonds. Billions in gems pass through this small district each year. Protected by the world's most advanced security, laser grids, infrared sensors, a vault with 10 layers of defense. But in 2003, a group of thieves did not just bypass them, they dismantled them, one by one. The mastermind, Leonardo Notarbartolo, a man who posed as a diamond merchant for 2 years, just to earn trust, just to get access. His crew, a team of elite specialists known as the School of Turing, a locksmith, a hacker, an alarm expert, and a man who could scale walls like a spider. They waited for the perfect weekend carnival, when the city was distracted, and in a matter of hours, they vanished with over $100 million in diamonds, gold, and precious stones without triggering a single alarm. No broken doors, no gunfire, no witnesses. To this day, most of the loot has never been recovered, and their plan is still studied by law enforcement as the most sophisticated diamond heist in history. Beirut, 1976. The city was falling apart. Civil war had turned streets into battlegrounds. And while bullets flew, someone was plotting a different kind of attack. The British Bank of the Middle East was one of the most secure institutions in the region, but war is chaos. And in chaos, locks can be picked, walls can be broken, and security fades into the background noise of survival. A well-armed militia group used the distraction of war to launch one of the boldest robberies in history. They did not sneak in. They blew through walls, torch-cut steel doors, and spent 2 full days inside the bank, completely undisturbed. They left with $20 to $50 million in gold, jewels, and foreign currency, and then they vanished. No alarms were triggered, no arrests were made, no loot was recovered. To this day, no one knows for sure who ordered it, but some believe it was not just about money. It was a fundraising operation for a war, a perfect crime, born in the middle of a civil collapse. When the smoke cleared, the vault was empty, and the world's attention had already moved on. I hope you are enjoying the video so far. If you are loving what you are watching, do not forget to show some support by hitting that like button. It really helps us out. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to Connection Station for more awesome content just like this. We are all about creating connections, and we do not want you to miss any of the fun. We appreciate all the support, and we are so glad to have you as part of our journey. Now, let us jump right back into the video. Kent, England, a quiet town, a secure depot, and a plan so cold-blooded it felt like a scene from a film. In February 2006, 6 men in masks didn't just want to steal money. They wanted to steal everything. It began with deception. Men impersonating police officers pulled over the Securitas depot manager, Colin Dixon. Moments later, he was abducted. So was his wife. So was his young son. And with a gun to his head, Dixon was forced to lead the gang straight into the belly of the beast, the secure cash vault of Securitas, holding tens of millions in fresh currency. Over the course of the night, the gang moved with military precision. They threatened 14 staff members. They moved over £53 million in cash into a lorry. That is over $90 million with 0 alarms triggered, no shots fired, no alarms tripped. Just methodical terror and cold efficiency. The aftermath, police scrambled. Suspects were caught, but most of the money still missing. Even today, large sums from the Securitas heist remain unaccounted for. Whispers suggest it's been filtered through shadowy channels or hidden, waiting to resurface. This was not just a robbery, it was a psychological operation, one that proved sometimes the most dangerous weapons are not guns, they are manipulation and fear. They didn't use guns, they didn't wear masks, they didn't need hostages, they just dug. In 2005, a gang of thieves in Fortaleza, Brazil, pulled off one of the most audacious crimes in history by tunneling nearly 80 meters straight into the vault of the central bank. For 3 months, they posed as landscapers, they rented a nearby property, set up a fake business, and began digging, working day and night beneath the city, avoiding sewers, foundations, and electrical lines with surgical precision. When they reached the vault, they broke through 3 feet of reinforced concrete, bypassed alarms, and walked away with nearly $70 million in Brazilian reals. By the time police discovered the empty vault, the thieves had vanished, leaving only dirt, dust, and shock behind. No sirens, no firefights, just the quiet hum of months-long planning and the roar of perfect execution. Though some were eventually caught, much of the money was never recovered, and many believe the true mastermind still free. This was not just a robbery. It was an engineering marvel, a masterclass in patience, and a disappearing act so flawless, it seemed almost impossible. But it happened, and it changed the definition of what a heist could be. Knightsbridge, a place where wealth and security collide, where some of the world's richest families store their most prized possessions. But in 1987, a group of thieves proved that no amount of security could keep them out. The Knightsbridge Security Deposit Center was considered impenetrable. It housed the jewels, cash, and treasures of London's elite. And yet, When the authorities arrived the morning after the heist, they found nothing but empty vaults. For 4 long hours, a group of robbers, armed only with calm and precision, broke into over 100 safety deposit boxes, gold, jewels, cash, and gone. They had studied the building, the schedules, and the guards for months. They knew the blind spots, the entryways, the timing. The heist was so meticulously planned, it was executed without a single shot fired, without even a moment of panic. And when the alarms finally went off, it was too late. The robbers were long gone. The value of the haul was staggering, an estimated £60 million. And the robbery was clean. Not a trace of the thieves, not a single fingerprint left behind. What was left was a wake of confusion. The robbers gone. The loot vanished. They were not just after money, they were after perfect execution. And they had it. This was not about getting caught, it was about disappearing without a trace. Heathrow Airport, a hub of global travel, but in 1983, it was the gateway to one of the boldest heists in history. A heist that would see millions stolen without a trace of the criminals who pulled it off. The targets, gold bullion, diamonds, and cash worth over £26 million, approximately $100 million today. The heist was no ordinary job. The robbers had insider knowledge. They knew the layout, the security, the schedule. They even posed as security guards. Once inside, they disarmed the alarms, disabled the cameras, and began loading bags with gold, diamonds, and cash. In under 2 hours, they had wiped out a fortune. The gang was calm, methodical, and most importantly, discreet. By the time police arrived, it was already too late. The robbers were gone, vanished into the night, leaving behind a scene of bewildering emptiness. But what followed was a series of betrayals, murders, and an investigation that stretched across the globe. Though many of the criminals were caught, a portion of the gold remained missing, lost forever in the underworld. The Brinks-Mat robbery became a symbol of audacity, of a crime that almost went unpunished, and of how a perfect heist can change lives and shape futures. JFK Airport, one of the busiest hubs in the world, and in 1978, it was the setting for one of the most infamous robberies in history. The plan was simple: rob the Lufthansa cargo terminal, steal millions in cash and jewelry, and disappear. At first glance, it seemed like just another routine night at the airport, but hidden among the workers, the thieves moved with quiet precision. They knew exactly where the money and jewels were being stored. They knew the security gaps. They knew the perfect time to strike. Inside the terminal, as cargo was being unloaded, the robbers attacked. They moved fast, silencing guards and loading up duffel bags with $5 million in cash and $875,000 in jewelry. In just minutes, they were gone. They had pulled off the perfect heist. But this was not just about the stolen millions. It was about the aftermath, a web of betrayals, murders, and a mysterious disappearance of key players. The authorities were left scrambling. Some of the stolen goods were never recovered. The Lufthansa heist became a symbol of the golden age of heists. A group of robbers had hit the jackpot, only to find out that sometimes the greatest thefts are followed by the most dangerous pursuits. It was a cold December day in Belfast, and the Northern Bank headquarters was about to become the scene of one of the most brazen heists in British history. But what made this robbery different was not just the sheer amount of money stolen, it was the terrifying psychological manipulation at play. At the center of it all, family members of senior bank executives, taken hostage by the thieves in a terrifying game of mind control. These robbers weren't just after cash. They had planned this carefully, knowing how to exploit the fear and vulnerabilities of their targets. On the surface, the plan seemed simple. 2 robbers disguised as bank staff entered the building as if they belonged. Then, the unthinkable happened. They held family members hostage, forcing the bank executives to open the secure vault. The robbers did not need guns. They had intimidation on their side. £26.5 million was stolen in one swift move. The robbers filled bags with cash, then vanished into the shadows, No one saw them leave. No one saw them coming. The authorities were left stunned, unable to trace the robbers or recover the stolen fortune. What followed was a nationwide manhunt, but the criminals remained elusive. Their identity is a mystery for years to come. The Northern Bank robbery was more than just about money. It was a crime where fear, psychological warfare, and perfect timing came together to leave a lasting impact on the city of Belfast. Sao Paulo, Brazil, a city known for its vibrant streets, fast-paced business, and towering skyscrapers. But in 2011, beneath the surface of daily life, an audacious heist was being meticulously planned. At the Banko Itau, one of Brazil's most prestigious banks, a group of thieves set their sights on the vault, where over $65 million in cash was waiting. But they were not just ordinary criminals. This was no smash-and-grab job. This heist was carried out with precision, executed by professionals who knew exactly how to infiltrate the bank without leaving a trace. The plan unfolded in the shadows, with insiders working alongside the thieves, bypassing high-tech security systems and leaving no evidence behind. The thieves worked with a quiet calm, filling bags with cash, then disappearing into the chaos of Sao Paulo streets. They left nothing behind, not a single clue, not a single suspect. For days, the authorities were in the dark, stunned by how smoothly the entire operation went. The Banko Itau heist had been carried out with such efficiency that even after all these years, its criminals remain a mystery, leaving one question to haunt all those involved. How did they pull it off? It was the Cannes Film Festival, the most glamorous event of the year, where the world's elite gathered in one of the most luxurious cities on earth. But amidst the champagne toasts and celebrity sightings, something far more sinister was happening inside the Carlton Hotel. Inside, a jewelry exhibition was taking place, showcasing some of the most valuable gems in the world. Guests marveled at the sparkling pieces, unaware that the perfect heist was already in motion. 3 armed men, dressed as if they belonged, walked into the exhibition as if it were any other day. Then, without warning, they pulled their weapons and took control. Within minutes, over $60 million worth of jewelry was vanished. The robbers filled their bags with diamonds, gold necklaces, and priceless gemstones. And just as quickly as they arrived, they were gone, slipping through the back doors, disappearing into the chaos of the Cannes streets. The Carlton Hotel robbery was executed with precision and calm, with the thieves leaving behind no traces. The city's elite were left in shock, with no clue as to who had carried out such a daring crime. To this day, the robbery remains unsolved, its perpetrators still at large, an audacious theft in the heart of luxury. London, a city defined by its rich history, its vibrant streets, and its iconic landmarks. But in 2015, it became the backdrop for one of the most audacious heists in history, carried out by a group of men whose age and appearance made them seem like anything but criminals. The Hatton Garden Safe Deposit Center, a hub for some of the world's wealthiest individuals, became the target of these seasoned thieves. But what made their plan so daring? They were not young guns, they were elderly men, each in their 60s and 70s, quietly plotting their crime over several months. Over the Easter weekend, while the city slept, the men executed their plan with military precision. They broke into the building, cutting through the vault wall with a power tool, and emptied safe deposit boxes containing millions in cash, gold, and jewels. But they did not rush. They took their time, working calmly and efficiently. And then, as easily as they'd entered, they slipped out into the night, leaving behind an empty vault and a trail of baffled investigators. The Hatton Garden burglary was a crime for the ages, committed by men who were anything but ordinary. In the end, their greatest crime was not just the heist itself. It was the fact that they pulled it off without ever being caught. To this day, the elderly robbers of Hatton Garden remain legends, proof that age is no barrier when it comes to pulling off the perfect crime. In Buenos Aires, a city of rich history, wealth, and intrigue. One of the most audacious robberies took place in the heart of the city. It was 2006, and Bankor Rio was just another bank with millions in assets locked away in its vault. But no one expected the heist that would unfold behind those walls. On a seemingly normal day, a group of well-organized robbers entered the bank, disguised as ordinary customers. With calm precision, they took control and held hostages at gunpoint, forcing the staff and customers into the vault. But the robbers did not just steal the money. They executed a meticulously planned escape. While the hostages were being held inside, the thieves had already dug a tunnel beneath the bank. Quietly and carefully, they made their way through the underground passages, emerging outside, undetected. In just a few hours, they made off with approximately $20 million. The robbery was planned so perfectly, it left investigators with no clear trail. The Bankor Rio robbery remains one of the most complex and ingenious heists in history, a testament to the skill and audacity of the robbers, who executed the perfect escape through the underground tunnel, leaving behind only confusion and questions. Even today, the identity of the criminals remains a mystery, making this heist one of the most fascinating crimes of the century. Here is your chance to win exciting gifts and hampers. Answer this question in the comments. In the Bankor Rio robbery 2006, which of the following was a key part of the robbers' escape plan? A. They used helicopters to flee the scene. B. They took hostages and escaped through a tunnel. C. They disguised themselves as police officers. D. They hacked into the bank's security system and erased the footage. Comment your answer below. Share this video with 5 friends, take a screenshot, and send it back to us via the link in the description box. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel to win amazing prizes like smartphones, laptops, or even cash. Let's see who gets it right.